Hi guys, Mike here with a tip for Planet Coaster Console Edition I'm sure most of you are going to appreciate. Today I'll be showing you how to get a theme park over the 100% Oswald build limit and hopefully get you up to around 110 to 115%. This can be done on PlayStation and Xbox and both old and new generation consoles. So first of all, how do we know it's at 110%? Well, if you take a PS4 park that has just reached the limit, then load said PS4 park up on a PS5 that we have done, it will show on the PS5 as approximately 65%. However, if you take this PS4 park, for example, and load it up on a PS5, it will show approximately 75%. With a simple maths equation, we can work out that the park has approximately 10% more than any other PS4 parks loaded up on a PS5. If you find other parks from PS4 are showing more than roughly 65% once on a PS5, this means the creator has used the exploit to get over 100% on a PS4. So now we know how much a 100% old gen park is on a new gen. It's 65%, so we can see how much we have pushed over the limit on an old gen once it's loaded onto a new generation console. The truth is, you're not going to be able to get much higher than about 115% on an old gen console, maybe 120% if you're lucky, depending on how well you take advantage of the trick I'm going to show you today. Okay, before I show you the trick, there are some cautionary things I must express to you so you don't flood me with comments asking for help. Once your park is over the limit, you will not be able to edit terrain, paint terrain, place paths or queues, add any more staff or place any benches and bins. So before you attempt to push your park over the limit, you will want to make sure all terrain is formed how you want it, paths and queues are in place, perhaps find a little area you can just place a bunch of benches and bins out the way that you can move later to a position you would like. This is because you will need to use a blueprint for the final pieces of detailing and rides that do not allow you to save terrain, paths, queues, staff, benches or bins in them. So make sure you have as much of this in your park you will want before going over the Oswald limit. Having said that, you do need to keep an eye on the percentage as you don't want to hit the 100%. If you do, it's not the end of the world and you will still be able to do this, but you may not quite get as much in as other people that manage to stay under the limit before attempting this. Okay, if you have hit the limit, then remove one of your rides, ideally a small one that will be easy to put back later. If you have managed to stay just under the 100%, then you don't need to remove anything. So now your park is just under 100%, hopefully 99. If not, add some more detailing until you get to 99%. Now save your park. You can always call it something different so you don't lose your original. I did, and I was thankful I did, as my first few attempts at this did not go well. Once you're saved and backed up, open a new empty map, preferably the same map you built the park on you wish to take over 100%. Here you are going to create a park full of details you wanted to put in your park that would have taken you over the 100% by saving them in a blueprint. Now, using your knowledge of your own park, fill out the edges of the empty map with detailing and rides where you know your park is not in the way. Only 5 rides can be saved. However, if you take rides through to your park, you will need paths in place beforehand or they will be useless. So perhaps just bring through the ride that you deleted earlier. This is the only essential ride you need to place on this empty map. You can only save 4,000 pieces to a blueprint, so choose wisely. You can see how many pieces you have placed by holding select and using the multi-select tool to select everything you have placed and see how many pieces show. You need to control yourself on how much you place and choose carefully. Some items of scenery can add hundreds of pieces in just one piece of scenery, like these sci-fi and pirate scenes. Now you have the 4K pieces laid out you want in your park. Use the multi-select tool to select everything and then save as a blueprint. Save it as something easy to find and be sure to put it in a category with tags you can easily find later. Once saved, you can save the park also if you like and load up the theme park you wish to take over 100%. As my park was so large, it was a little awkward getting the blueprint in place, but once I did, I had all the detailing I needed to finish the park to an acceptable standard. Something you may notice once you paste the blueprint in is a freeze or crash. Don't worry, just let it unfreeze and save it. If it crashes, try again until it don't crash and then save. Once saved, it should stabilize. Now you can move the ride back in place that you removed earlier and place in all those extra details you couldn't before. You may notice, however, some functions not working correctly. I noticed that I couldn't move things unless I selected them using the multi-select tool. So if you can't select or move something, use the multi-select tool to grab it and then it should allow you to move it. You may also notice that when you move an item into place, it may no longer rotate. But if you move it 10 meters away, it will then rotate. This is a rare one to happen, but be aware random items on occasions do this, so you may need to rotate things away from the spot where you actually want it to be placed. This is essentially why there is an Oswald build limit. The engine itself can't cope on a PS4 once a threshold of items has been crossed. So a lot more patience will be required to take your PS4 Xbox One park over 100%. I recommend starting a theme park from scratch. Start it on a piece of paper first, well planned out with little paths and queues as possible, as these eat away at your build limit fast. Then when you come to building in the game, I would follow these simple steps. Paths first, then some terraforming, then rides and queues, keeping an eye on the limit the whole time. You do not want to go over 90% with paths, queues, terrain, lakes, rides, staff, benches and bins. Get all this done under 90% if you can. I didn't start detailing this park until I hit 90%. You will want to get the basic shops in place, but don't build around them at first. We can do this later. Once you have the paths, queues, rides, shops and all terraforming and floor painting complete, you want to be no higher than about 90% by this point. This will leave you 10% till the 100% mark and the extra 10 to 15% from a blueprint. I would use that last 10% to do as much detailing and final terraforming as possible until you get to the 100% mark. Then at this point, follow the guide we just went over. Delete one ride that's easy to place back and repeat what I just showed you. I hope this helps you come a little closer to a park you're happy with. I know the limit can really be a disappointment at times, but with some well planned parks on paper and sticking to the right process, I'm sure we'll all get some pretty good parks together on PS4 before we all get to PS5. There you go, I'm going to leave you with some more footage of this park, and don't forget to download from the Frontier Workshop and be sure to vote up. That's it from me, thanks for watching. Stay tuned by hitting subscribe and show your support with a quick hit of the like button. Until next time, happy exploiting.